Hey Josh. Hi Anthony. So I had an idea for a movie. Oh, nice. Let's hear it.
All right, so I had this idea for a movie, and it's a fantasy movie.
Is it X-rated?
Sorry.
All right, no, I'm just saying. I need to know now, is it going to have a lot of sex or not?
So
No,
it can. Let's see how we go. Let's do it. Let's
treat it like a first date.
All right. Fantasy movie. We've got warlocks, dragons, and ogres. That's it. No humans.
That's all you need, baby.
No elves.
No dragons.
Yeah.
No, wait, what did you say? You did say dragons.
Dragons, warlocks, and elves. So dragons are they're just modes of transport. That's it. Nothing else. No other of the story.
They're beasts of burden.
Yeah. The warlocks, however.
Yeah.
They just replace humans, but they've got a little bit of magic.
Okay.
And the ogres are like they're just friends. they're kind of like
companions,
like dogs almost.
Okay.
So this one warlock.
Yep. This is like Warcraft now.
Oh fuck! It is. Let's roll. Let's roll with it. So we've got.
Hey, if it works for Blizzard, it can work for us.
So the one warlock. What happens?
Wait, there's only one warlock?
The main warlock. His name.
Okay, yep.
What's a warlock name? Give me a name.
Archimedes.
So Archimedes witnesses something supernatural. He's at in his cabin in the woods.
I'm just going to butt in real quick. What's supernatural to a warlock? Is it different to what's supernatural to me?
Yeah, it's very different. I'm glad you asked because this has been burning in my brain. So
because say there was a puff of like purple smoke to a warlock. That's probably just
an
everyday occurrence.
Puff of smoke at 6 a.m. to wake you up. It's an alarm clock. His puff of smoke goes off and he wakes up. Okay, so it's night. He's been sleeping,
having a nap.
Yeah, it's 5 a.m. He wanted to get up early to go. They don't fish in this fantasy world. They do something different.
It's like fishing.
Yeah, it's pretty similar, and it tastes the same. So it's 5 a.m.
Yeah.
His puff of smoke goes off. Yeah, and the reason the puff of smoke wakes him up is because it reeks. It smells like horse shit. Horses exist in this fantasy.
Yeah, but they're not beasts of burden. They're just wild animals.
Yeah, not friends either.
They're very, very violent.
Yeah. He's on his ogre, like whipping the ogre's ass. Like, take me to my cabin.
Wait, is that? No, you mean a dragon?
No, the ogres are companion. Like they ride ogres.
Oh, they ride them, but I thought they rode dragons.
Dragons are more like airplanes. So ogres replace horses, cars, trains, and buses. So
do ogres have intelligence? Like, are they?
No. A little bit. They've got like they understand colors and shapes and stuff.
That's pretty intelligent. And they communicate that?
No. You just explain that in the subtitle before the film starts. It's like this fantasy land. Completely different. This is verbatim, exactly what the title card's going to say.
Yeah.
In this fantasy world, completely separate from our world.
Please do not confuse this with our world.
Yeah. Ogres understand colours and shapes, but don't understand much else. And they can't communicate that.
Please do not apply any like human traits to ogres just because they look like big green humans.
Yeah.
Do not do that. And do not patronize our world.
Yeah, and there's only, and it also says here's a tip for navigating this fantasy world. To get an ogre to do what you want, you have to whip its ass.
Wait, that's it. Instead of explaining that's how the warlocks do it, is explained as here's a tip.
Yeah. If you find yourself in this world, this is the sort of information you're going to need to know to survive.
I like this narrator. It's got a lot of personality.
Yeah.
If you find yourself in this world, here's a tip.
Yeah, and
try whipping the ass of an ogre.
These tips come throughout the movie as well. So when you find yourself a little confused, don't worry, because in 30 seconds, the voice of God will come and explain it to you.
Excellent.
So I can't remember where I was in this film. So the puff of smoke wake him up.
Smell like horse shit, wild horse shit.
That's right. The ogre is thinking of like, brown, purple, green, and just sitting in the corner, just thinking colors. Triangle, yellow rectangle.
But how do we know that, or did the narrator explain that?
The narrator explains it.
There, the ogre sits in the corner, thinking about the only things it understands: shapes and colors. Probably pink, green, square. I don't know. It's impossible to know for sure because they cannot share it.
The horse shit. You're right. The horse shit smell wakes up the warlock. Was it Archie? Archimedes.
Archimedes.
Yeah, Archimedes. That's right. So, and he witnesses a supernatural thing. That's
for him.
I still don't know what it is.
It could be something as simple as it could be like a rainbow to him because he doesn't because their world is different.
Yes, it's a rainbow. Very good. That's got me. You got me out of a hole there because I was just running through things in my mind. Yeah, simple. So the rainbow was actually a rainbow arrow, and it pointed in a direction. Yeah. So this is the end of Act 1. So let's have a brief intermission.
So Act 1 was just the narrator explaining the world and him waking up to a horse shit alarm and seeing an arrow. It seems more like an opening scene. Does the narrator actually take us through a lot more information that you can't be bothered going through right now? We get the whole history. We get the history of the warlocks. We get their how the ogres came to be subjugated by them, and how they learned to harness the power of flight through dragon and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So while we're in the intermission for the film, let's talk a bit more about this world. Let's build this world a little bit more.
Okay.
So horses don't exist, actually. I was wrong, but horse shit exists.
And they just call it horse shit.
Yeah. People understand what it is.
Yeah. It just means a bad smell. Oh, horse shit. Oh, that stinks.
So,
and it's like if a horse ate meat as well. It's a really bad smell. You know what I mean?
They do in this world, but horses, they're fantasy in this world.
They're like mythical creatures.
Yeah,
and that's how they explain disgusting smells. They're like, a horse shat there. Yeah. It's like our dads when they fart.
Yeah, it's like Harry
horse
Potter.
shat.
Like everyone knows Harry Potter in this world, but in our world, but in this world, there's a book about horse shit, and everyone knows that book, and it references that. Like, I love the horse shit book at school and stuff.
And the writer is a turf. Yeah, the horse shit author. He's like a bigot.
The horse shit author. Yeah. The bigot. That's it. The horse shit author. The bigot.
Oh, and I know what's going to happen when we get to that person, the horse shit person. Author is the person who also popularized the enslavement of ogres.
Yes.
And convinced everyone that they all they understood was colors and shapes and nothing else. Because I assume there are intelligences of these ogres. I think we're getting set up, the narrator's setting us up to be tricked to later reveal that the ogres are actually...
I haven't quite got there yet, but you're now that you said it, we can use that. Because I'm not too sure where this story's going. So the intermission's over now. Just like... It's over. You don't even get it. You don't even know how long you've got in intermission. So you hold that piss. So arrows pointing in a direction.
It was a 42-minute intermission, by the way.
Yeah. They don't call this direction north. They've got a word for it in their own language. So this whole movie is in a different language,
of course,
except for the narration.
It's in Warlock.
So you miss a lot of plot points.
Oh, heaps. And when he's like, Lushkel, Fagerstaller, he's saying horse shit. That smells like horse shit. Yeah. But you don't know that. You don't know that.
Every morning, he's like, horse shit.
Fagerstaller.
You never get used to this purple alarm. And these people are like technologically advanced. They're not like, they're not dumb.
They just love
warlocks.
Tradition.
Yeah, it's a traditional
They're old-fashioned.
Purple smoke horse shit alarm, which they got from this book that the bigot wrote.
It's like Dune, Dune, they have all this technology, but they still have all these like spirit, supernatural powers and stuff.
Interesting you bring up Dune. Do you know how they extract spice from the sand?
Yeah.
these people actually extract the purple horse shit from mud.
From mud.
So they like in a frying pan, like the gold.
Panning for gold.
Gold panning. Yeah, and then they find these little like specks.
So even with all their technology, they're still panning as well. For
it goes back to tradition.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you did say that just a minute ago, so I should have assumed.
So this arrow points to a like one of those sort of gold towns, like a gold rush town. Like
where the
Bendigo
horseshoe
or whatever.
Yep.
And this man has
a man.
Sorry, this warlock.
Oh, okay.
Has a legion.
To them, that's what they would just call a man. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're thinking like a warlock.
I changed the idea. Sorry, let's go back 10 seconds.
Okay.
The warlock. This is the main warlock.
We're still just starting Act 2, by the way. Is that?
Yeah. I'm scrubbing back. So press rewind. Intermissions happen. The warlock's still going, oh, this horse shit.
Maga.
He gets on his ogre, whips his ass, makes him follow the rainbow.
Does the ogre love him?
They're pretty.
Are they capable of love, ogres? Oh, we don't know that. We don't think they are, but
we're about to learn though.
Yeah.
So he follows the rainbow, which takes a while. A few scenes of him walking through these like glorious, wonderful things. You just see warlocks, dragons, and ogres because there's only three.
That's everything there are.
There's no animals or anything. Except wasps. That'll come into play later.
Well, and that's the only way. Well, how else would the plants be pollinated? Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. Well, there's not many plants. There's only 3 types of plants.
What are they?
Roses.
Okay.
A new type.
A hearty plant of roses. Yes.
Why was he fishing? Why was he planning to go fishing if there was no animals?
Well, you did say they don't have fish.
That's right. Yeah,
but they taste like fish. Maybe it's just like some kind of build-up in the water that tastes like fish.
There's a lot of powder in this world. Like there's the brown, the purple horse shit powder, and then there's like blue powder you get from the ocean, and you can eat that. It tastes like fish.
Good, because we make all these assumptions that, everywhere else that has like life will be like Earth. No, some places are just powder planets.
That is
predominantly powder planets.
Yeah, that's the name of this movie.
The triple P.
Predominantly powder planets. So him and the ogre is whipping the ogre's ass raw.
Does he get right the hole as well? Like, does the hole get?
The ogre's wearing leather, and there's like a hole on his ass cheek where you have to whip that exact spot, and it's on left and right. So yeah, you whip the middle, the tip of the crack to make him go straight. Left and right, left and right.
It's very like skilled thing to do as well. Like you have to get a license, train in
most of schooling in this planet is just from reception to year 12
is just panning and whipping
and whipping, and fishing for powder. So they're following this arrow, the rainbow arrow, and
are they the only one? Can anyone else see it?
No, just Warlock.
Can the ogre see it? No, he keeps going the wrong direction. He gets getting whipped. No, he can't see where it's meant to go.
He sees it because they're colors. That's how the ogre's known colors and shapes.
Oh my god! You know this is gonna be. I have such a good twist already because you've given me such a good one. This is so good.
Do you want to do your twist or should I do my twist first?
You do your twist first, and then I'll tell you what mine would be.
So the arrow points to a cave, and in that cave is an ogre. This ogre. First of all, he's different in that this ogre has a beard. And
so I didn't realize the other ogres didn't have beards, but
they've only got
I know.
sideburns.
And they don't like them, but their owners make them grow them because they're dehumanizing.
So this ogre, do you know what happens when he meets this ogre?
What?
This ogre speaks. Have you seen Planet of the Apes?
No, I know. What's that?
Yeah, so it's like that. Like this ogre, and there's a mad warlock in the cave who's been injecting this ogre with this powder, and the powder has changed the ogre's DNA to give him speech.
Okay.
And the ogre killed the mad warlock, and now the ogre is continuing the research because he wants to free the other ogres.
Ah.
And he tells the warlock, step down from that ogre and face me like a warlock. All right, before we continue, because I'm going on a tangent here, what's your twist?
Yours is getting a bit sci-fi, and it's very good. It's very good. Mine was the thought that the rainbow, all the ogres can always see the rainbow. And one morning, a warlock wakes up and he can see the rainbow, and he starts to realize the assumption that the narrator has pushed upon us and the author of Horseshit has pushed upon society is that the ogres are incapable of any kind of intelligence. But then what the warlock starts to discover after seeing the first ever rainbow is he starts to understand that there's a whole world that the ogres understand that's very advanced and very, very like unique intelligence. And it's like a discovery of that. In the same way that, we worked out that we start working out like crows can like do fucking puzzles and shit. Their intelligences are very specific. They're just not the same as ours. That's what I was thinking. And maybe that's what the power of speech from the ogre will reveal because our ogre could never tell us that because he can't talk.
Let's merge these two ideas. So the scientist ogre made the rainbow that only ogres can see, but he made it a little too powerful this day. So the ogres, they understand shapes and colors. So the arrow is pointing them towards their, a bastion of hope.
Oh, he's calling all ogres. So lots of ogres have come.
Yes.
Oh, and this is the only warlock that's come and he's got there first because he's whipping his ogre really hard, so it's running really fast. Yeah. And he got up at 5 o'clock in the morning before any other ogre would have been woken up. Even a wild ogre wouldn't have woken up that early to see the rainbow. So he saw it first, and he's whipping the arsehole so hard that they're getting there like at breakneck speed or break hole speed, and then they get there and he's like, what the hell? What are you doing here? Why did you come here? And he's like, because the arrow. He's like, how did you see the arrow? And then he's the chosen warlock.
Yeah, he's got the DNA sequence, but it's different in this world. It's not, they don't have blood. It's powder.
It's powder.
It's like, I can't even think of another word for DNA, but he's got some special powder in his blood.
Alchemy. He's got his alchemy is different because the fantasy's alchemy.
Yeah, that's right. So he's the alchemy of his body, the alchemy build up of his body is different. This mad ogre, whose name is Greg, needs this powder from this warlock to finish the sequence, the DNA sequence, the alchemy sequence of his injection that will give him feelings that only warlocks have. So he can speak and he still understands colors and shapes, but he can't feel hunger, pain, or resentment. And he wants those three things.
Hunger, pain, resentment. I was thinking
okay,
that the ogre with the newfound intelligence, the ability to speak, and a couple of other skills that other ogres don't have.
Greg?
Yeah, Greg. Because that's an anagram of ogre. His plan is to gather all the ogres together and use color and shapes to show them how to defeat the warlocks, okay? Because they're going to kill all the warlocks. And then this is what this big film, the film's really about, is it's a journey of these two races, these two different species learning to live together. It turns out that our friend Archimedes can see the powerful warlock message for the first time, and they wonder why. And they says so. A lot of the movie is him trying to stop the ogre Greg from doing this army to kill all the people, and then
the warlocks.
Sorry, and then I know how. He finally convinces him to stop doing it. Like he realizes. Can I tell you? It's like the big twist at the end. It's really powerful.
Can I tell you something first?
Yeah, I want to hear more. Let's get more stuff in going, but I've got the twist.
Remember it. So first of all, my first thought is I've got an actor for.
Oh yeah, we haven't done it. I haven't covered anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So get this: who plays the mad ogre, Greg?
Mike Myers.
Dave Grohl. The color and the shape.
Oh my god.
That's an album, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to go with Shrek, but
yeah. So Dave Grohl and the Warlock.
The Warlock, our main man Archimedes, can be played by.
Guess who?
Do you want me to? Okay.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
David Bowie.
Well, he's dead, so no.
Okay, David Bowie's son.
Prince Andrew. No. I have no one.
No, Prince is dead too.
Timothy Chalamet.
Tim Curry, or is he dead too?
No, he's still going. I think he's still.
Would you
Tim Curry? Yeah, he's great. He'd be great. He actually would be
great at anything. Really,
fantastic Warlock. Do you know who we haven't heard from in a while? We haven't heard from the narrator. We've got no tips, so we've got no context to understanding what the fuck is going on in this fucking world.
Patrick Stewart, narrator. Yeah.
Yes, very good. So Patrick Stewart gives us some more tips. He says, when navigating, what's the name of this land?
We're navigating Powderville. How about Powdonia?
Powdonia. Keep your eye to the ground.
Keep your eye to the ground.
Because
you
may find some valuable powder.
Is this just a generic tip, or is this going to be? Is this going to set up for something?
It's just generic. In case you find yourself in Powdonia, keep your eye to the ground because you may find some valuable powder. And there's another tip.
No, not that. That's just dirt. That's Powdonian dirt. It looks like powder because everything in Powdonia looks like powder.
Powdonian dirt is actually very valuable.
No.
Yeah. In this world.
I've dismissed it.
Yeah. In this world, it's a very valuable resource. Just like horse shit is valuable in Powdonia. But here it's nothing. It's nothing to us.
To me, if I saw dirt in real life, I just fucking I piss on it.
Yeah. But in Powdonia you'd piss on it. But if you had Powdonian dirt here or piss-covered earth dirt in Powdonia, very valuable.
Okay.
I've got no other tips. So let's proceed with the story.
Okay.
So
our ogre friend has Greg has brought all the ogres together, and they all get there because Marcomedes is the first one there, but then he's like, what? Greg's like, Dave Grohl, and he goes, "Why don't you turn around?" And then he turns around, and he sees like
sea of ogres.
What do they say? What are their words?
Purple.
Green, blue, square, arrow.
Green, blue, square. I see a warlock over there.
They can say rhymes.
Green, yeah. Green, blue, square. Warlock over there. And there's like these drums. Boom, boom, ba-dum. Ba-doo-doo-doo-boom, ba-dum.
But at this stage, they're not going to do anything to the warlock because they're afraid of them.
No, they just warlock to them is a shape.
It's just a shape. It's just another shape.
So it doesn't mean anything to them except it's like me saying, there's a rectangle over there. Like that cabinet's a rectangle. It's just warlock.
Well, you'd say that. Okay. But you wouldn't
say?
You wouldn't say that's a rectangle over there. If you saw a cabinet, though, would you? If you saw just a rectangle,
I know more words.
True, you do.
So ogres are very limited in scope with their vocabulary.
Only their vocabulary, not their intelligence, as we are going to further discover.
Untapped intelligence within their they don't have a what's that? The main part of the brain.
The hippocampus.
Yes, let's say that. Or the medulla oblongata.
Yep.
They don't have that in this fantasy. They've got a more powerful part of the brain that...
What?
Do you know what it does? It's like a heart almost. It transports powder through their brain. So
they see everything in color and shape.
Yeah. Well, and that's all they hear as well, the album.
Oh my God. That's a good album, actually. One of the few good Foo Fighters albums. That was a really good one.
So, the
movie's called The Color and the Shape, by the way.
I thought it was called the potentially pink powder.
That's a fantastic name, but Color and the Shape is better.
All right.
And the soundtrack for the film is just the movie. There's just The Color and the Shape played through, just in the background on loop.
And except when the narrator's giving us tips.
No, they just turn it down.
Yeah,
it's still playing quietly.
In Powdonia, everybody knows the Foo Fighters, and then
everybody loves the Foo Fighters album, Color and Shape. It's the only thing that both the ogres and the the Warlocks really share is that they both hear the song of the album.
They both agree upon that. It's a
great. It's like it's a generally considered a good album by like all music fans. Really,
I haven't heard it in decades, so
it's a consensus. It's like a general consensus. Like I'm saying, you don't have to listen to it again. You can just trust me.
So I keep forgetting where we are. We're still
at the cave. We've still got the ogre army with the potential ogre army marching towards the cave.
I have a feeling I was wrong though earlier.
Oh shit.
Because I think this is still Act 1. I think Act 2 is about to start.
Oh bloody hell!
Yeah, this is a long.
This is a very long film. It's a fantasy. Come on, Lord of the Rings. How long did that go for? Days. That went for
enough.
3 hours 3 times.
So, what's his name? Greg says, I really don't know where this movie's going, and that's what I'm struggling with right now.
Well, I do, but I don't want to hijack. I want to give you the opportunity to
hijack a little bit. Let's get the juices flowing.
Okay. So the next step is our mate Archimedes, for the first time ever, experiences the other side of the coin and becomes a prisoner of the ogres. Okay,
and then whip his ass.
How do you like it? It just gets his hole just gets whipped and whipped and whipped.
I think maybe the Warlocks they take him as prisoner, but they treat him with respect to show that they're not what they're perceived. Because everyone thinks they're like these inhuman like morons. But they've got a lot of love and care.
Perhaps they don't enslave him. That's their stand. They'll say like we may want you to kill you all, but we're not going to take pleasure in torturing you like you do us. But that's not Patrick Stewart. That's Dave Grohl doing Patrick Stewart's voice.
Yeah. But this is when Patrick Stewart chimes in and says, in Paldonia to show, I don't even know what I'm getting at here. Let me think of a Patrick Stewart.
Is this a tip? Just a tip, is it?
Yeah. Patrick Stewart says you can't watch Star Trek in Paldonia because TVs don't exist. Star Trek, however, exists.
Star Trek is real in this fantasy universe, but they don't know about it and they don't have anything to do with it. Just so you know, it's happening.
Yes.
In the universe, somewhere in the universe, it's happening, and it's actually happening.
Pretty close.
Next gen in the same quadrant. Next gen is occurring in real time.
So Greg,
not that it matters, and it won't have any bearing on this film.
No, we just know, and it's cool enough that Worf's out there somewhere,
and it kind of gives you like a new way to look at this universe, this world.
And see that actually thematically that fits in quite well with the way to perceive ogres now. Like, so we're changing the audience's perspective on ogres. Originally, we see them as inhuman, covered in horse shit and muck. Can their asses whipped?
Just their curly sideburns, like matted with shit.
Shit and piss. Just pissing everywhere. Ogre piss is like alcohol as well.
Powdered alcohol. Just like they spray out like it's like a sandblaster.
Yeah, they cough it out.
Yeah, they're cocks.
Yeah. So this is when Greg says, look, I'll level with you here. What's your name? Archimedes. So I'll level with you here, Mark. What we've got is
Archimedes.
I've constructed a potion. Oh yeah? A potion. You made a potion. Like, incredulous that an ogre could make a potion.
You made a potion? I'd like to see you gather the powder and know which powder is the right powder.
Yeah.
For said potion.
He says, this potion will change the way this society runs.
How so?
Because ogres and warlocks will be on a level playing field. And together, we can get to space and find Worf. Oh,
so when I said before that the fact that Star Trek universe had no bearing on the film whatsoever, that was completely wrong.
Let's go back. I'm struggling here because it's such a good setup.
It is. I can take it to some next levels.
Take it to the next level.
So
I'll chime in when I can.
His plan is to use this ogre army to overtake and enslave. Overtake and become the ruling class of Paldonia.
Is Paldonia the planet or just like the land?
it's the land, but it's because they're not their dragons have never done a full lap, so they don't really they don't actually know it's round. They think it's flat.
Yeah. Okay.
So actually, what they've done a few times, really embarrassingly, is because there's this mountain pass, right? And they'll go all the way to the edge, like right to the edge of the bottom of the mountain pass where there's a town. And sometimes they'll fly all the way around the planet to the other side of the mountain town and stop at that town, but they won't go over the mountains because it's very blizzardy. And they don't realize if they just went over the mountains, they connect the circle because they're just dragon flight is fantastic and it's free and it's like mountain climates. Just because dragons have flames. Dragons have flames and stuff. They can't handle the cold, the blizzards, and the snow. And no one's ever walked across these mountains except ogres. So actually, the funny thing is, ogres know the Earth's round, but the rest of the warlocks and the dragons are clueless.
Some ogres. There's a dispute between.
Well, they know what a shape is. A sphere. It's a sphere. They know that Earth's a sphere.
That's true. I was going to say something it's flat, but you're right. You're 100% right there. So dragons are opposite. They breathe out moisture. And mountains can't get wet because they're on fire.
Fire mountains. Okay. That's cool. That's good because that just subverts what you would assume. And
well, you're going to come into this movie thinking like, okay, another fancy movie. There's going to be dragons.
There's going to be mountains with snow and dragons with fire.
Guess what? Whip the ogre's ass and you get where you want. Feed the dragon powder and you get where you want.
You get some water.
This whole society is built upon transport and that's it. There's like nothing else.
Oh, okay. So if you look at all good economies, the ability to transport goods is like the basis of every good economy. They didn't
transport goods though.
They transported powder.
No. Powder can't leave a kilometre from where it was found. That's a new rule. New rule, Patrick Stewart narrates. If you find powder, don't move it 1 kilometre from where you found it or it will disintegrate into smaller bits of powder which you won't be able to find.
Here's a hot tip for you. When gathering powder, make sure to not go beyond a kilometre radius of the origin spot or you will lose your powder and its effective abilities.
1 kilometre translates to 15 ogre struts.
Ogre leaps.
Ogres jump. They don't walk as well. So Greg and Archimedes are in the cave, and all these ogres start bouncing towards them.
Because so the whipping the arse thing, as cruel as it is, it's like it's the only way an ogre can leap for a great distance. So they have to do their own. They do their own arseholes when they want to get somewhere fast.
Let me let you in on a little secret.
Okay. I'm all ears.
The ogres actually don't mind it. Patrick Stewart chimes in halfway through the movie. You think you're on the wrong
side. Oh, by the way.
Ogres enjoy arsehole whips. So it's true. Ask Patrick.
They don't enjoy being enslaved, but the arse whipping part, that's not
pretty nice. Pretty nice.
That's like that's the silver lining, really, for them.
So this movie's really stopped. Like we haven't really progressed.
Well, I can progress you if you let me.
Progress.
Okay, well, I'm just going to get to the third act, all right, to get to the last bit, because we can make all the assumptions that's going to happen. So he builds up the army. He communicates with... Wait, okay. See, this is what you're doing every time. This is why we're going nowhere, because you want some dumb detail.
Is Mark working with Greg now, or is he still enslaved by him?
Mark Archimedes it's like all the famous war films where they capture the general, capture somebody, the translator, whatever, and they learn about each other and they learn about each other's cultures through communication, and they deride each other, and they don't, they have animosity towards each other, but slowly these things start to break down, okay? And there's a twist at the end that I'm going to get to.
Get to the twist.
You'll know what Mark Archimedes does, because I was about to tell you what Mark Archimedes does.
Okay, tell me. Lay it on me.
Mark Archimedes spends the whole time trying to convince the ogres that the ogres that they're unintelligent, and he's trying to explain to them, to Mark Archimedes, that and therefore the warlocks, that they actually do have an intelligence that's very advanced and very capable.
Can I interject?
Oh, of course. Why not? Yeah, what?
So Mark the whole time just berates them and says you're all a bunch of fucking idiots,
and just like keeps whipping their ass off, thinking he's doing a good thing, because Patrick Stewart knows they like it, but Mark doesn't.
In line.
Mark doesn't, and he's like, why doesn't Greg stop me from doing this? He keeps letting me whip them, but he's like, whatever, I'll just keep doing it. And so they're learning and they're understanding, and then it comes to the moment where he's built up this army, and they've gone to the warlocks, the warlock township, well, the heaviest.
What's it called? Castle Powder?
Yeah,
no, they don't have castles here.
Yeah, it's called It's because it's like it's the biggest powder mine in Powdonia. So it's called like Powder Springs or something. And for all the warlocks, where most of the warlocks live and breed and stuff. So they're marching there. Okay,
can we just? Patrick Stewart has to explain how the warlocks breed because that I'd really. I'm curious.
Oh, by the way,
every 10 minutes he interjects with that.
Now this is not an X-rated one, so that we're going to say they don't fuck. They
so much as they get powder from their bodies.
Powdered cum.
They shake hands, and then so the female warlocks have powdered eggs, and the male warlocks have powdered cum.
I think they just powder it into their eyes, like in their eye eggs, and it goes like it's absorbed into it and goes into their bloodstream.
So yeah, sorry, you go on. Now we know about how.
So the ogre army's coming up. Greg's leading it. They're about to do it, and then just before he tells them to charge and kill him, Archimedes is like, "Wait a minute, Greg," and he's like, Dave Grohl's like, "This is you had your chance," and he's like, "Why could I see the rainbow?" And he's like, I don't know, who cares? It doesn't matter. And he goes, but it's only ogres can see the rainbows. He's like, yes, only people with ogre DNA can see the rainbow, powdered DNA. And he's like, and then he's like, wait, and he's like, well, who was your parents? And then and then they go each other's lineage. And then Patrick Stewart helps him and goes, well, let's travel back in time. And they go like back and back and back. And then Patrick Stewart reveals to the audience and Archimedes begins to understand that once upon a time, they would interbreed all the time.
Fuck.
They were two species that lived in harmony and they loved and adored and worshipped. And what they do is in Powder Springs. So what happens is Archimedes ogre says doesn't care that they're discovering this, doesn't care about this discovery, and goes against doesn't wait for Greg's command and charges to kill him. And then in the process, smashes open an old cave.
Another cave?
Yeah, that's good. What? There's powder caves, and then this old powder cave.
Fair.
They find these ancient writings and these
Scrolls.
pictures.
No, they're not scrolls.
These shapes. They find these ancient colors and shapes which tell the story of the harmony that the two species used to live in together, and how much they loved and respected, and how much better their societies were at the time.
And interestingly. Mark wakes up from a dream here, and he's back.
The alarm's going off.
Yeah, the alarm's going off, and he's like, "Oh, it smells like horse shit." And then he's like, "Oh, thank powder. It was all a dream." But he steps outside and looks up, and he sees the rainbow arrow. And the whole movie happens again.
Yes, that's the end of Act 2, and that's the end of Act 3 starts.
Yeah, now we really get into it.
And it all happens again. But what's different this time around?
Well, nothing.
New tips from Patrick Stewart.
New tips, yeah. And quests, a couple of new quests.
Yep.
So,
and a bit of, and there's they jump to what's happening in real time in the Enterprise as well.
And lots more fishing for powder.
Yeah.
But it's not fishing, it's a different thing.
Tastes like fish.
Tastes like fish. So, first of all, there's a bit of more of a survival aspect this time around. You see, on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, there's a hunger bar, a fatigue bar, and a thirst bar.
Oh, we should have it the whole time.
No, just this time. And you watch in real time as Mark tries to, or Archimedes tries to maintain those 3 bars.
Well, and also he's still under the prison. He's still a prisoner under Greg and the.
No, this is on the way back to meeting. So this sequence of him actually traversing through Powdonia to meet Greg,
right?
Is a longer survival.
So every whip, his energy goes down because he has to use
and he's like, I need to eat and sleep, and then there's
I'm all whipped out.
A spring over there or an oasis. They've got oases in this sense.
Yeah, but they're powdered oasis. But
yeah, and powdered coconuts and stuff. So he's tucking into powder.
We have powdered coconut here too.
No.
Yeah, it's flesh of the coconut and the powders. It's different.
Don't ruin the story. You're killing me here. You're killing me.
Oh my god! All you're trying to do is redo the entire second act again, and I'm just ruining it.
All right, so then he gets back to ogre, the exact same thing happens. He sees the colors and the shapes on the wall that spell out the history of ogre and warlock kind. And I think that's probably the end of the movie.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So does he use any of the knowledge he gained from the dream or does he just forget the dream? He just forgot it. Because sometimes you just forget dreams when you wake up. You're like, what the hell? And you're like, oh, what was that dream about? No, it's gone.
What's different is that now he gets hungry and thirsty and stuff. That's
but prior to that, we never really we never given any like indication that he needed food or water or rest
or use the toilet or anything like that. So the second time around, you see him use the toilet.
All the scenes where they would have spent talking about stuff is just this time it's all the same, except the scenes are just of him shitting and eating. And
just farting. He doesn't shit. Just farts powder.
Yeah.
And then, I think that's probably the end. So that whole, second act repeats again. And then the second act, never been done before, as far as I know. The second act repeats as the third act, which is pretty fresh.
It is very fresh. It's a bit like Jet Force Gemini when you had to replay the levels over again to get different things and stuff, like a second way through.
I was thinking very gamey when I started thinking about the survival aspect.
Yeah. There you go.
A video game, yeah.
So this is like... This entire film is done with the graphics of a Nintendo 64 as well. Yeah, this is basically a Final Fantasy game.
I just had a thought though. So the film finishes, the credits roll. After the credits, Patrick Stewart's sitting there with the book and says, "That was the tale of Paldonia," and closes the book.
Oh, very good. And then he goes. And then once he finishes the book, he goes
back.
He goes right back to the deck, and with,
the
bridge.
What's that kid's name?
Wesley. Yeah.
Wesley.
He's telling the story to Wesley falling asleep.
He tucked into bed. Yeah. And Worf, they're in the bunk bed.
But then he leaves and it's just a holodeck that he has his fantasy that he gets to read stories to them.
Yeah. And Data is like, would you like to play that again, sir?
No. I've had plenty for one night. Thank you, Data. Good night. And Godspeed. That's the end. Captain's log, stardate 743. I read a long, long book twice to Worf and Wesley. And the second time I made it more of a video game. And they fell asleep. It's my favorite hologram, and I can't wait for tomorrow. Good night.
And then it zooms in because in this version of the story, he doesn't speak his captain's log. He writes them down.
Oh, yeah.
And it zooms in on the page, and you just see square, yellow, orange, triangle.
And that's the twist. And everyone's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Is that Star Wars world? Ogre world?
Star Trek world,
sorry. Is that an ogre world? Fuck. Oh, you're such a nerd. Technically, it's Star Trek, not Star Wars. They're two different franchises. Same thing, nerd.
So, and then when Patrick Stewart gets up and he walks to his bed, the camera turns towards the window and zooms in, and you see that familiar landmass that we know as Paldonia.
And you see, and then you see. He zooms in and Greg winks at the camera in a twinkle of a star's twinkle.
I think that's a pretty good movie. You've been listening to So I Had This Idea, which was created by me, Anthony Frith.
And me, Joshua-Davies Thain. Thanks for listening.
Yellow, square, parallelogram, circle, violet, box, cabinet.
Whoa, slow down there, buddy. My ogre is rudimentary at best.